my name's Davey. I'm a careers advisor at Cheshire College. I'm here today to give you my top 5 interview skills tips. So without further ado, number 1 is make sure you've read the job spec. Basically every time that you apply for a job it has a job spec, and on that job spec it gives the essential skills or experience and desired skills and experience that they need for a person to do that job. And it's normally attached to the job advert, or it might be within the job advert. You need to make sure you've read through that, because in the interview they're going to be trying to check that you have those skills, so they'll be asking you questions about those. So every time that you see one of those, you need to make sure you've got a good answer to prove how you've got that skill or experience. So for example, if you were going for a job in a shop, they might want somebody that has good teamwork, because you'll be working as a team, in the department. And if they want that, they're going to ask you a question about that. They might say, for example, in the interview, give me an example of when you've worked successfully as part of the team. And if you sit there and can't answer it, then that's not going to look good. So you need to make sure that you write down beforehand an answer for each one of those key skills, so that you can answer it really well. So for example, say you had to do a presentation at college, and you gave each person a role. So somebody was going to actually do some research, another person was going to present it. So you gave out all those roles, you worked as a team, and then you did the presentation and worked really well. That would be a fantastic example that you could give as part of an interview. So you need to do that for each of those key skills or experience that they're looking for. So that's number 1. Number 2 is interview practice. So once you've got that and you've got an idea of the sort of things they're going to ask you, and there's always some general questions that they always ask you. You can just do a little Google search for interview questions, and you'll get a list of questions that they pretty much always ask you. Then what you need to do is you need to make sure you've got an example, a real example for each one of those, and then you practice with somebody asking you those questions, those interview questions, and you practicing answering. That way, when you go through the actual interview, not only are you going to be able to answer them really well, but you're going to feel confident because you've done it a few times, you've got your answers practiced and sorted, you're not having to think too much, and it will just come out of you really naturally with loads of sort of confidence, and that's going to really, really help you. So friends, family, or careers advisor can all arrange to do that with you and get your confidence up. So number 2 is absolutely interview practice. Okay, number 3. Thank you very much, my lovely assistant. People person. When you go for an interview, one of the things you've got to remember is when you get a job, say you're going to get a job in a supermarket, or let's say that it's in a retail environment, you're going to be working with people maybe 5 days a week, 6 days a week, all day. And what they want to know is, are you the kind of person that can really work well with the customers, can be sort of friendly, happy, positive, can use your initiative, all those kind of things. That's what they need to see from you in your interview. So you must make sure that you try and demonstrate that confidence, that can-do attitude, that you're kind, that you're polite, that you look smart. So there's all those things to make them confident that when you're in there that you're going to be a good person to have around, a sort of positive person to have around. And you need to demonstrate that in the interview. And again, if you're quite a shy person, it's another thing you can practice when you're doing your interview practice sessions. Okay, number 4. Number 4 is research the company. Now, every company website will have a couple of sections. They normally have a section that says about us. Your bare minimum is that you need to read that, because they might ask you a question. They want to know, have you done your background reading about the company? And the minimum you could do would be to go onto their website and read the bit that says about us. And that also counts if you're going to go for an apprenticeship interview as well. That'd be really important for that too. They will also probably have a section that says their mission statement, And that's normally the kind of things that are important to that company, that matter to that company. And if you know what those are, you can drop those into your answers as well, which also sort of demonstrates you're on the same page as them, like you agree with the kind of mission that's important to them. And along the same lines of that, they normally have a section that goes on about their values. So for example, there's some companies' values are very ethical. They want to make sure that they say donate money to animal charities and things like that. And if you can demonstrate that you've got the same sort of values as them, then they think, well, you're our sort of person, and that really helps you get the job. So you definitely don't want to be sitting there in an interview and they ask you a question, what do you know about our company? And you've got nothing to say, you haven't done any research. So that's a big thing that you need to do. And lastly, number 5, thank you very much, is be passionate. Basically, when you go for an interview, they want to give the job as well as somebody that has all the right skills and experience. They want to make sure that they give the job to somebody that is really passionate about having that job, that convinces them that they would love to have the job, that they would cherish the job, that it would be beneficial to their life to have the job. They want to give that to somebody. They don't want to give a job to somebody that doesn't seem to care. Even if they have the right experiences and they have the right skills, if they don't seem that bothered, if they don't seem to care, they obviously won't want to give the job to them. So you need to show them you're passionate about that job, that you really, really want it, and it means a lot to you. And they'll respond to that. So that's a big thing that you need to work on. And again, you can work on that in when you're doing interview skills. And it could be something that you talk about right at the end of the interview when they say, have you got anything else that you want to add? You can add about how passionate you are for that job and how much you want it. Lastly, if you need any other advice, you want to talk to anyone about it, you want any interview skill, any practice interviews, anything like that, you can come and talk to us at Careers. We're on Microsoft Teams. You can contact us on Microsoft Teams or by email or ring the college and they'll help you get in touch with us. So hopefully that's given you some good advice, and hope to see you soon.